Okay, morning everyone. Everyone hear me okay? Oh, there we go. Sorry, I couldn't hear you for a sec there. Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, not bad. I was eyeing up these cells. I was gonna take it at the break, but I thought, you know what? I just woke up, man. Let me not jump straight in.
Yeah. See, I was looking at the so when I first woke up, I was looking at it, and it seemed to be rejecting this area. This
Mm,
30-minute candle came up kind of well, to be honest, I need to remove this zone. Um, but it kind of makes sense now. So we had a resistance formed. The only issue is that obviously this 30-minute candle came down with no
no
confirmation.
wick, yeah.
Yeah, no wick to the bottom, and it's continued down. But I mean, we have a lot of range, once we break this next level anyway. We have a
Yeah.
good 18, 20 pip range. So we just have to wait and see if we can get like a pullback for London Open or something like that. But it was pretty difficult because you had a minor support here, also where price had been rejecting. So the only real take could have been the break of the low over here, but I think that was pretty risky to do so. So
Yeah.
I think we'll just have to wait and see here what happens. Morning, morning. So yeah, it was kind of just ranging, and then we just get those 7 a.m. pushes. Some days it does it, some days it doesn't. But then some days it's going to be obvious because you're going to have candle closing above or a weak candle. But when it's just ranging like this and then just breaks out, I mean, it broke the high and then came down to break the low. So I think at this point we'll need to just wait and see for like a minor resistance or something like that. But let's take a look here on the higher time frames in a sec. We're just going to wait for a few more people to join. Made sense, I suppose, from a 4 hour. It's like a break and retest. So we'll have to see at this point.
I was in broke up and come back down to retest.
Maybe. The only thing that I was thinking was if we were going to continue bullish, we would need to have respected 14700, 14730, this kind of support area, because this was before the weekend. Price made a high, created support to continue further. So general rule of thumb is that we need to respect this area. But if you look, every time we've come up to make a high around 141, we've ended up making a higher high, but then rejecting and then correcting. So 28th of December corrected, 4th of Jan corrected. So now we just got to wait and see if today's will correct. But I'm thinking it may. But we are at quite a strong level right now, which is why if we do break down and close below, then we'll have to wait and see what happens on the smaller time frames. But I mean, yeah, I think price should. I mean, it looks to me as if the price is going to continue down. But if we start entering into this range and then we start to see a little bit of a pullback, and then maybe like a resistance created or something like that, then we can have a nice sell coming down to 14300. It's going to be the next target. Take a look on the 15. Even clean candles on the 15. So I have to wait and see here for a minute. Do you only trade GBP, JPY? Mainly, yes. Mainly. It's the main pair. It's the main pair that I trade. Okay, let's look at this from a 15-minute perspective. Looks as though the 15-minute candle is trying to close below this area. Let's take a look on the 5-minute. Yeah, we had a 5-minute candle closing bullish in this area, and now the next 5-minute candle is coming down to break this low. Have to wait and see, I suppose.
Any news this morning?
No news. I did check. Yeah, no news. We got some. Yeah, nothing really to worry about. Yeah. Ooh, so the 15-minute candle, it closed above 148.5. So I mean, we just have to wait and see, I suppose, what kind of happens here.
Just remember to like your stream.
Yeah, man. 100%. Yeah, we're just gonna have to wait and see what kind of happens here. Got 15 minutes left to London Open, and then I think, I mean, it would be perfect if we can obviously create some resistance and then continue down. It's gonna be the best outcome here. But while we wait, let's check out gold. Let's do some fresh analysis here on gold. Okay, so looking at the daily time frame. So current daily candle did go bearish. Actually did come down and fill the wick overnight in the Asian session. Seems as though it's retracing, so maybe it wants to pull up a bit. Sorry. Yeah, maybe it wants to break its own high and then start to pull up a bit. Let's take a look on the 4-hour. So it seems as though the 4-hour time frame came down to a support. It's now retracing. It has a resistance here though, so which needs to be respected for price to continue down. Otherwise, if it can break above this resistance, then maybe it's going to correct some of this move. Let's take a look on the 1-hour. So looking on the 1-hour, looks like gold is just in a big consolidation range here. Looking on the 30-minute, if we remove this zone now. So looking on the 30-minute time frame, I mean, if we stretch left, then this support was above an area of consolidation. So it seems as though this candle came down and then price closed back in a range to continue moving up. We do have a resistance over here. If we can break above this resistance, there's a very high chance that we can continue up to 1862,500. And then if we can successfully create some support in this area and then break this support, then we can continue down and then maybe retest around 1835 is going to be a good target here. So obviously you need to see if gold can create some support here, and then if it starts to break the high of this weak bearish candle, there's a very good chance it can continue moving up at that point. What's GJ doing? See, the 1 hour time frame is at this very strong area. It's a very strong area. So, I mean, technically speaking, we did break out of this zone. So now we're coming back to this area, which is kind of where I want to see how we yeah, we need to see what's going on. But did everyone have a good weekend? What did everyone get up to? Kelsey's in here this morning. Morning, Kelsey. Morning, Salim.
You alright, mate?
Yeah, how's it going?
Yeah, I'm alright. How are you?
Yeah, all good, mate. All good. New week. Ready to kill it.
Yeah, first trading day for me.
Yeah, nice. Nice. Yeah, I think because it's a Monday, and if you see the move that's already kind of happened, it's not quite a clear confirmation move. So when you see these type of moves, I think it's going to be the best thing to just kind of take it easy. It's a Monday as well.
I think what would be really like a strong confirmation, for like a potential sell, if we closed like the way we, like how it's like if you go on the 1 hour, if we close the way it is now, and then maybe we could see like like on the next 1 hour, a close of if we break the bottom wick of the current 1 hour, then maybe that could be like a good sell, like an impulsive sell.
Yeah, I think so. I think the next 1 hour candle, due to a lot of these rejections here previously, may want to, retrace back to this zone potentially before. So this area. So we may see the next 1 hour candle like wick up into this area and then start to drive down, breaking the low. But I mean, for that to happen on the smaller time frames, I would want to see like maybe a minor resistance being created on the 15-minute or something like that. But what's going to be nice, as long as we can stay above this area, then we know at some point this area is going to break if we're going to continue down. So if we just come down and close below, we don't want to be necessarily taking a sell at the low as well. So yeah, I think it's going to be nice if it can retrace or do something like that and then continue moving down. But yeah, that could potentially be the next 1 hour top wick if we see a retracement. So, but yeah, I agree with you. I agree with that. So I suppose we're just gonna have to wait and see what happens here. Did you guys? I know Ibs got sorted. But because I haven't checked any private messages on Discord or anything. Did you guys manage to send the email for
Yeah, I'll send it over
the course
on Discord.
Perfect. I'll add you straight after the stream. If there's a little video in the general chat, it's really simple. Literally you just go on the website, you log in, enroll, and you're away. So yeah, a lot more webinars are going to be added this week. I just didn't get around to doing it last night. I added one more last night, but then I got tired, so I was like, okay, need to get to bed, start of the week. But yeah, there'll be plenty more being added this week. So Okay, looks like the 15 minutes retracing a bit now. $15-minute was very messy this morning, like pre-London. Very messy. Thank you so much. You really explain well the current price action on each pair. Thank you very much. Morning. Sorry if I missed it. Are you looking for support to be formed or further downside? Guessing it's a Monday, so only solid option. Yeah. So basically, obviously we know that price is broken out. Right, we know that price is broken out to the downside. There was no confirmation, but at the same time, yeah, potentially looking for further sells. Right now, the 30 minutes kind of reacting to this level, which is where I kind of expected some rejections to come. So now it just becomes a point of whether we can create like a resistance here to continue moving down, or if price comes back up in the range, then we know there's no bias for sells. If this 30-minute candle closes as it is, then this is what we would call like a booby trap candle, which is where it comes down, wicks into an area, retraces, and then the next one is usually gonna continue with that momentum. But yeah, it seems to have broken the high of the previous 15-minute candle. So I suppose at this point we just want to wait and see how it closes. Let's take a look on the 5-minute. Yeah. Quite a big 5-minute candle. So yeah, I think there's just going to be a little bit of waiting here before we get something of substance. But yeah. Because if this candle closes a really weak bullish, and then the next one wicks up and then breaks this previous 15-minute low, then we could anticipate a break of this area, right, with volume. Because even the stop loss on this 15-minute is only 9 pips from the break of the low. So, necessarily, if it does close weak and we break this low, I think there's a very good chance that we could continue down, and then we have a nice clean 17 pip range here on the 15-minute time frame. Even if the 15-minute candle closes right at this area, again, it could break the low and continue down, but it's something you'd want to see in like the second half of the candle. But yeah, I think we'd have to wait and see, because if this candle is willing to break the high and close bearish, then I would say there's a very high chance that the next one will respect this high and then continue moving down. So yeah, I think we're just gonna need to just wait here for a sec, see what kind of happens.
Hey, you've got magic keys, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are you meant to have the in the top right corner where there's the padlock? Is that light meant to be on?
There should be either like a smiley face or a little green man.
Yeah, I've got a smiley face. I'm talking about on the actual keyboard itself.
Yeah.
In the top right corner, there's like a padlock.
Mm-hmm.
Is the light meant to be there?
Yeah. I think that just means that when you press the top left, which is the calculator, I think that's gonna mean that you've turned it on. So once you click that, a calculator should pull up on your screen, and then if it does, that means it's on and it's connected. So yeah, no, that's fine. Okay, we got 2 minutes left here. Morning, George. Morning. First day back on live account. Was up all night waiting for that sell and caught it. Nice. But George, you can come on the Zoom. You can join the Zoom now. You've promoted from YouTube. So yeah, go on our London session chat and you can come on and join the Zoom. Okay, so it looks like the 15-minute candle is trying to close bearish, but we'll have to wait and see. I think there should be a pull up, but I am expecting, I think, London Open to continue us moving bearish, because since we broke the high over here, we're coming down. It seems as though we're going to close bearish, and then if the next one can wick up a bit and then start to break the low, then I think we can take a nice sell, keeping the stop loss originally above the previous candle, which is going to be 10 pips, and then, you know, we can expect price to continue moving down with volume. Oh, you can't at the moment. Okay, fair enough. Well, you know the options there whenever you can anyway. Okay, so yeah, we need to wait to see how this candle closes. We'll be coming into London Open, so we may see a pullback, but I am expecting volume to continue us moving down.
Come on.
Yeah, I think if this 15-minute candle closes as it is now, and then the next one wicks up and breaks the low, then I think there's a very high chance at that point we can continue moving bearish. Ooh, is it going to close with no wick to the bottom? It closed with a barely wick to the bottom. Let's take a look on the 30-minute. 30-minute also closed at this area. So, I mean, I think maybe if it flips bearish now, we could. But let me just measure the stop, because it's going to be a little bit larger. Yeah, it's going to be around 10 pips still. So yeah, I think if this candle flips, but since it had no wick to the bottom, this is why we're seeing this deep retracement. So I think it's going to be good to stay out for the minutes. Plus, it's the new 1 hour, which is also creating that top wick, which is kind of what we expected, right? Considering that this was a rejection zone. Let's take a look on the 30-minute. Yeah. Maybe it's going to be the break of the previous 30-minute. Oh, looks like it's retracing hard here for London Open.
Yeah, the 30-minute might have to come into that area to the left where those wicks were made, maybe.
Yeah, it seems as though it's going to do that. Yeah, exactly. So, what do we want to see? Well, we want to see something print that we like. But right now, because this candle, it had barely a wick to the bottom, you know, it potentially meant that there was no range. And then since this candle broke the low immediately and then went bullish, it tells me that, okay, there wasn't the confirmation. See, we're coming up to break the high. Yep. So we're breaking the high now of the previous 15-minute candle. If it does that, then at this point, we can kind of really just got to wait, I suppose. I think we just got to wait to see what happens here. Oh, yeah, it's retracing hard now. It's broken the high of the previous 30-minute, broken the high of the previous 15-minute. 1 hour is now tapped up into this zone. So since it's done that, I think if it comes back down to break its own low or the previous low at this point, it should go. But now I'm looking at stop loss and things like that. So yeah, I don't know. Let's just see how this 15-minute candle, because it's only the first 3 minutes, so we need to obviously wait to see how it forms. But 11 pips isn't too bad for a stop. Maybe even look on like the 5-minute. Kind of see, because if we look on the 5-minute, let's say this is consolidation, right? And then we see a 5-minute candle coming down and breaking to the downside of the consolidation, then that's also going to be a small indication that, you know, price can continue down. So but I suppose we just got to wait and see here for the 15-minute.
Yeah, you just got to be careful, like, because obviously was it 140, 480, like it's quite a strong level, and we've kind of rejected it at the moment. So
Yeah, see,
even if it does come down,
yeah.
just got to be cautious.
Yeah, definitely. I think because, like you say, it's that strong level. This is why we've seen such a reaction from it. But I mean, there's plenty of things that can print to break through this, which obviously we just need to keep an eye on. But I'm just kind of going to play a bit close attention to the 5 minute here. Because imagine if this 5 minute closes really weak and then we see, candle come down and break the low. But we'll have to see. But yeah, we kind of anticipated this deep wick up on the 1 hour. So at least we've anticipated that. So now we just have to think what we want to see print for a nice sell. I think it's going to be... Let's see how this first 5 minute candle closes. Because the first 5 minute candle is already pushed all the way up to 145.80. And now it's coming back below this 5 minute resistance. So let's just wait and see here. Morning, bro. Can you please explain why 140.480 is a zone? I have a zone at 140.190 as there is clean counter to left. Is 140.480 previous resistance turns support. 140.480, if we look left on the 30 minute, was a previous area of resistance before we broke out on the 7th of Jan. The only reason I'm cautious of this zone is because this area is a potential area for rejection. If we take a look on the 4 hour as well, there's also a potential area of rejection, right? If we take a look at the 1 hour, it's also a strong level. The reason why I'm not focusing particularly on this is because when I see a strong level like this on the higher time frames, usually on the smaller time frames, there's going to be some reaction, right? It's the same way that, okay, when we look on the 30 minute and we see, let's say we see this candle continues moving down and we see a clean move on the 30 minute. Usually when we go to the smaller time frames, like the 5 minute, you're going to see a bit of consolidation. You're going to see some rejections, right? It's the same thing. When we see a strong area on the 4 hour, on the 1 hour, on the daily, usually there's going to be some type of reaction on the smaller time frames, right? Maybe like the 1 hour, 30 minute, 15 minute. And then it's the same with the 30 minute and the 1 hour. There's going to be reactions on the 5 minute and the 15 minute. So that's kind of why I've got this zone in mind, because also wanted to be cautious of this zone. And rightly so, because we can see how price is reacting on our smaller time frames. So, I mean, if we look at this first 5 minute, it closed back in this consolidation here. So you can see that we're consolidating at this area. So we want to wait at this point to see what kind of happens. Maybe I'm going to wait for this 15-minute candle to close. Since, if this candle closes like a weak bullish and then the next one can break the low, I think we're going to have a great sell. We waited. This would have been the pullback, the first 15 minutes of the new hourly as well, creating that top wick, creating this weak support in this area, because then we know that if we just have one weak bullish candle, this isn't quite a strong enough zone that as we expected. So we're being cautious and we waited for something nice to print. Taking sales down over here, you can already see we got stopped out. So I think it was the right decision to wait and wait patiently, because we just didn't get that same confirmation. So personally, I'm just going to wait and see how at least the first 15 minutes sets up, and then I think we can go from there after that. I think we can go from there. The move is quite stupid today. Price keeps breaking the high and the low. Couldn't find anything solid this morning. Yeah, nothing's kind of been nice so far. But this is why you have to be patient, because a lot of times when I see, this is the same thing, right? When I see a breakout, I've realized like I don't get FOMO with the breakout, because I know that, okay, when we have a breakout, it can create resistance, it can create support, we can have weak candles, we can have continuations. There's so many opportunities even from a breakout. So I find just a little bit of patience, and believe me, something can present. But if nothing presents, then I'm happy to call it a no trading day. Because every day that you don't take a trade is just another day that, you've survived the markets, as they say. Morning, Freddie. Yeah, I'm waiting for something similar, like a weak bullish 15 or 30 minute with long wick at the top. Then the next candle broke the low of the previous candle. Exactly what I was thinking. Because even if this 30 minute, let's say, closes a weak bullish and the next one breaks the low, then we can get a nice continuation. We also could see the same thing happening on the 1 hour time frame as well. So we just kind of have to wait here at the minute. I think at least for this first 15-minute candle to close. And then we can kind of make an informed judgment after that. But obviously, if price comes back up in this range, then there's nothing clean until we're at least breaking above 147.60. Because within this range here, we've got 6 pips, and then once you break above this area, we've got 7 pips. Is no good. But then once we break above 147.60, we have a nice clean range for around 17 pips. So that's probably going to be much better. Yeah. So yeah, we're just waiting here. Can the other guy on the mic? Yeah, it's fine. I think he's muted himself now anyway. I didn't think he meant to. Okay, so yeah, we're just waiting over here. So we've looked at the 5 minutes. The 5 minute candles are still kind of like consolidating here. So, I mean, I suppose we're coming into the last 5 minute candle. So let's wait and see how the first 15-minute candle closes.
Yeah, my bad with the mic. I thought I was muted.
Oh, no, it's cool, mate. Don't worry. So, yes. We got around 3 minutes left here for the 15-minute candle to close. Here, so you know how I put on my story, obviously, the day that the mentorship price was gonna go up. I knew that there would be one person that would read it, see the stories, but still say, "Oh, can I get it for the previous reduced price?" And it's just like, wow. I gave people weeks' notice. I mean, actually months' notice, because I called it back in December that was what I was gonna do. I knew there'd always be one. It's crazy, man. Okay. So we're coming up to the last 2 minutes, 3 minutes. Doesn't seem like the candle's retracing. Doesn't seem like it's going to close weak. So I think if it's not going to close weak, then what we maybe want to see is maybe like a bearish candle close in this area. But then I suppose let's just wait for it to close, and then I can actually, I suppose, make a better judgment.
Like if you go on the 4 hour time frame,
Mm-hmm.
like on the left, it looks really messy.
Yeah.
then when you go down on the 1 hour time frame, it doesn't look as messy. But what I can see is if we can close on the 140, 430, and then we respect the 140, 490 area. I'd say if we flip back bearish, I'd say that'll be a strong confirmation for sales again, because obviously if we manage to close above all of those areas on the left, where we had the rejections, I'd say maybe that would be like a better confirmation. I'm just put off by all of them rejections on the left. I'm just gonna try to draw it, like pointing it out for you. Just 1 second.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Yeah, I see the rejections you're talking about. This area here.
Yeah, these.
Yeah.
This one, and this one. So I think if we close below this candles, and then we respect the top, if we flip back bearish, I think it should be a strong confirmation.
Yeah, I would agree with that. That's kind of why I'm looking at this area overall, because anywhere kind of below this resistance is like, I would say, valid, because if you look at this, the rejections all make sense, but then once you close back below this resistance, then at that point you can say, okay, well, once you close below, what am I looking at now? Well, even within this range, these candles were clean. Even these sell-off candles were clean candles, and these candles here to the left were also clean. So anywhere kind of, I think, below 140, 480, 490 is going to be good for price to continue down at that point. But what we're kind of waiting for now is some form of confirmation, since if we look at the 15-minute candle now, actually, so we can see how it's closed a strong bullish candle. In terms of a body, it's engulfed the two previous 15-minute candles, right? So we don't know whether it's necessarily going to continue down yet or not, basing off the smaller time frames. So what we want to see is candles printing back bearish again for us to have the confirmation that, okay, price should continue down now. So it looks like it's retracing quite hard. Yeah, I think it was right to be cautious of this area. So yeah, I think we're going to need to wait now for some form of resistance. But look at this. It's retracing all the way back. Maybe it's coming to do a retest. Just possibly coming to do a retest. But I mean, either way, like, there's no sells at this point. There's no buys as well. So right now there is nothing. So we just have to, suppose, wait at that point. But to be honest, to come on a Monday and see messy price action and stay out, I think is still a win, because then okay, if it's messy price action on a Monday and we stay out of it, then there's a good chance that Tuesday is going to create some volume, and then if Tuesday is also a messy day and you stay out of it, then okay, Wednesday should be a good day for volume. And then even if Wednesday still messy price action, consolidation, to be able to stay out of days with bad consolidation also is part of being a profitable trader, so. But yeah, it seems as though we've come up to definitely do some form of retest. Some form of retest. But yeah, I think this is definitely why I was cautious of this area, because we tapped into it now, and now we are starting to retrace from a 4-hour perspective. So yeah, there's definitely going to be quite a bit of waiting involved here today, I would say, at this point. So kind of while we wait, so what's gold doing? Oh yeah, so look at gold now. So we had 2 weak candle closes on gold. Let's take a look on the 15. Yeah, we had many weak bearish candle closes on the 15-minute on gold. I think at this point, a nice break of the high would have made sense to continue up. So I think gold should continue bullish at this point to 1864. Let's take a look at Euro JPY here. So let's clear everything. Let's take a look at Euro JPY. So starting with the daily. So it seems as though it is respecting this area here to the left-hand side again, which is the zone that I spoke about for the pre-Asian session analysis. That needed to be respected for price to continue moving up. Let's take a look at the 4-hour. So yeah, looking on the 4-hour, I mean, the only issue we have is that the previous 4-hour candle was closing below this zone on the 4-hour time frame. But if this current 4-hour, since it's coming back up in the range, if it can successfully close back above, then we should see some form of retest and then continuation, because we have this high to retest up over here on the 4-hour. Taking a look at the 1-hour time frame. Let's remove everything here from a 1-hour perspective. So obviously we know that we tapped into a support. We rejected the support. We created a resistance, which is kind of the 4-hour resistance area. So since we're breaking above, I think this has given us good confirmation, strong information that the 4-hour time frame should continue up, back up into that range. We can see here we create a resistance, and then the 30-minute it's coming back up in the range. We also have a resistance over here which seems to be reacting to. So once we break above 126.980, then I think we're going to have another clean range coming up to 127.080, and then once it can break 127.080, it's got a clean run at that point coming up to retest the high overall. So that's going to be the ultimate move on EJ. It's going to be this range over here. It's like a 30 pip range. But yeah, the condition for EJ to continue bullish is got to be the 4-hour needs to be closing back above this previous support, and then there's a good chance it's going to continue moving bullish. So yeah, that's what we're kind of looking at here for Euro JPY. Let me just neaten this up from a 30-minute perspective, and then we also have a support that was created over here, and then we can just neaten this up a bit. I suppose this is still a target in perspective, but this is going to be the ultimate range here. Nice clean range. You could argue to secure profits over here, but you're kind of looking at this resistance because we tapped into this area. Seems to be the strong resistance area over there. Okay, let's go back to GJ, see what it's doing. Oh, it's retracing. What's going on here? 15-minute candle. Seems like it did a retest. It's now coming bearish. So, yeah, we'll have to wait for this candle to close at this point. Yeah, we'll need to wait for the 15-minute candle to close. If the 15-minute candle can close bearish, then I think there's a good chance we could definitely retest this low. Now, there's not enough range to retest the low, but there's the potential idea that with volume we could break this low and then continue moving down, which could work, because one bullish candle does not represent the fact that we're gonna stay above this area. So I think let's just wait a little bit here. We can't really do anything now anyway, so we got to wait for this 15-minute candle to close either way. But even if it just runs down, then we can look at the overall 30-minute, and if the 30-minute candle is closing weak or closing weak bullish, then we can expect if the next one can wick up and then break the low for price to continue again. That type of entry we see happen a lot of times. So I suppose we're just gonna wait over here. Morning. Did we take any trades today? No trades so far. But yeah, there's no we. There's always me. People take trades on their own accord. But there's just me. But yeah, no, nothing yet. Nothing yet. Right. I'm just gonna be back one sec. Okay, it seems like the 15-minute candle's coming down over here. Let's take a look at the 30-minute. 30-minute did do a retest. Seems to be closing weak. Let's take a look at the 1 hour. Yeah, it was definitely a retest on the 1 hour. I mean, you could have taken sells over here kind of to expect price to continue down. That's kind of like up to you, but yeah, I wouldn't have been like confident in that kind of idea, just because you never know. So I think the best thing to do is going to be to wait for this 15-minute candle to close. And then, you know, we can kind of wait to see how the 30-minute also closes here in the last 5 minutes.
I'm thinking that if the 30 closes quite weak and then we wick up and then break the low, maybe that could be an idea.
Yeah, 100%. We've seen this happen a lot of times. The other idea also, I mean, since this 15-minute candle is closing bearish, it seems to have rejected. You could sell anticipating this low to break, but obviously if it doesn't, then almost that's kind of the probabilities aspect. So then that's where you have to make the decision. Do you wait for this 30-minute low to break, or do you want to anticipate that the overall low that's been created is going to break? But I think I'm going to wait for this candle to close and then kind of make that decision. Take a look at the 1 hour. 1 hour still got 30 minutes. Yeah, so that does make sense, because then if the 1 hour candle flips bearish, then I think we're going to be off to the races here. 30 minutes got 4 minutes left. 15 minutes got 4 minutes left. Yeah, I think we're going to need to wait for this candle to close. You know, because at the same time, you have a number of options. You can wait for the 30-minute candle to close, and then you could take a sell on the break of the low of the 30-minute. You could also take a sell wherever the 15-minute candle closes, and then you could say, okay, well, you know, I'm anticipating it to break. You could wait for the next candle to wick up and then break the low of the previous 15-minute candle. So this current open 15-minute candle, again, expecting this low to break, is something you could do. But obviously each has their own probability, right? Because, you know, it could break this low, but not break the low of the 30 and then consolidate. But, you know, that's something that you have to kind of anticipate. So if we measure from the low to the body candle high is around 11, 12 pips, which isn't too bad. But yeah, I think I'd rather take a break of the 30-minute low if it's going to close like this. But either makes sense. Either makes sense. because then I'm safeguarding myself if it breaks this low and can't, you know, continue down. The same thing as well is that, you know, if this candle, yeah, see, this candle is retracing as well now, so we do have to wait for candles to close. Oh, it's flipping bullish in the last minute here. Oh, there we go. Hope nobody took early entries, because this is as easy as it can be for a candle to flip in the last minute. Because if it does this now, then we would have to wait for a candle to close in our direction now at this point. So we're gonna have to wait here, see what happens. Because if this candle closes bullish, then there's no sells again at this point. We can't take a sell yet. Okay, 30 seconds left. It's not looking good to close bearish. Yeah, it's not looking good at all at this point. Now it closed strong 30 minute. We have to wait for a bearish 30 minute. Yeah, I would say either a strong 15-minute candle or a bearish 30-minute candle. I would agree with. So yeah, so we can see now the 15-minute candle, it closed bullish, but it closed a weak bullish body. So yeah, I would agree with, you know, may even have to wait for the 30-minute candle to close now at this point in our direction. At least the next 15-minute candle. So yeah, just one of those ones. See, this structure, if this was, you know, a better area, you know, you could argue that a break of this low would anticipate price to continue down. You could argue that, but just because of how strong the 30-minute candle closed, I mean, would it make sense to sell at the break of this low? Potentially, but it's going to be a little bit more risky, because, you know, it'd have to be above the current 30-minute candle. So it would be a little bit more risky, but could make sense. But I would rather see a candle close in my direction, for sure. Oh, it's coming down now to potentially break this low. I think if it breaks the low of the previous 30-minute, could anticipate price to head further down at that point. Because then you can keep the stop loss above the current 30-minute candle, which is going to be around 10 pips for price to continue down. So it has broken that low on the 15. Damn, I am in a trade, my mistake, waiting to get out ASAP. What trade did you take? Yeah, I think the only confirmation for me for a sell is going to be the break of the 30-minute low, because then that would be also the 1 hour flipping bearish in the last half an hour of the 1 hour candle. So that would make more sense to me. You know, and then I can keep a stop loss above the current 30-minute candle, which is going to be around 10 pips, and then we have a nice 16-17 pip range at that point. So yeah, I think if I'm gonna do anything, that's gonna be what I'm gonna do. 145.91 breakout. 591. Shouldn't you be into profits? If you took an entry over here, you should be in profits. So okay, so here we go. I think if we break this low, then I'm gonna execute a sell with a little bit lower risk, just because we have to use the current 30-minute as a stop loss. So if it does break this low, I'll execute a smaller risk sell and then anticipate price to continue down. But yeah, see, it's already tapped into this low, which is why I didn't want to take it on the break of this candle here while we were just in this kind of consolidation range. So just gonna wait. Yeah, it seems like we've got a little bit of potential lack of volume here. Oh, look at this retrace. Okay, we've got 9 minutes left for the 15-minute candle to close. It's literally right at this support now. Ooh, coming down. So I think if we break the low of the previous 30-minute, I think it's going to be a pretty good sell over here today for price to continue moving down. But we really need it to break the low of the previous 30-minute. Also be closing the 1 hour candle. Flipping the 1 hour candle, sorry. Markets move so nice pre-London. I didn't think so at all. Pre-London was just consolidation, man. Look on the 30-minute, so messy. Maybe at 4:30 a.m. was a good push once you create resistance, but apart from that, it just consolidated. I wanted to trade multiple times in a range because of the multiple retracements I always see. Okay. So first trade profit, nice, but second at the moment not. Okay. Yep. I think if we break this low, if you're in sells, then the sells are still valid at that point. But we need to wait. Obviously, I'd rather it in the second half of the 30-minute, but if it does it now, then we got the confirmation. Hey HFX, where in the UK are you from? Curtis, I'm from London, mate. Yeah, I'm from London. Break the low with the candle close. Break the low with closed candle. No, so basically while this candle was still open, I mean, we came all the way down and now we're retracing. But what I mean by break of the candle low is if the 30-minute can break the low of the previous 30 minutes. So if you imagine this candle's open and breaks this low and then keeps running down, that would then in turn, sorry, had the hiccups. That in turn would flip the 1 hour candle bearish, right? And then this would be a simple break and retest on the 1 hour. But for then that to happen, like I say, the 30-minute needs to surpass the low of the previous 30-minute bullish candle. And, you know, we would kind of want to see the first 15-minute candle closing bearish and all that type of thing. So, yeah. So, yeah, there's not the confirmation yet. But if it does break this low on the 30-minute, that's where I would be executing. That's where I'd be executing my sell. The other option you have is, let's say the 30-minute candle closes at this area. I literally uploaded an Impulse Entries webinar to the group yesterday. On the new course, talking about this. So when we get a resistance being created at a support, there's a much higher probability that the support's going to break. So again, you know, there's plenty of options here. We just have to wait for candles to close. I'm guessing around Coventry, Milton Keynes area. Yeah, close but not close. Yeah, London, man. Hi mate, your live sessions are really educational. Thanks a lot, bro. Appreciate that a lot. Thank you for coming. Thanks for coming on. I just moved to Chelsea. Oh, I'm a Chelsea fan. So you're in my good books there, Curtis.
Yeah, I'm from Milton Keynes area. So,
oh yeah, you are. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got someone in here from there. But break the low with a closed 30-minute or just when it passes the previous low? When it passes the previous low, that's when I would take a sell. But of course, if this candle closes bearish but didn't break this low, then your impulse entry would be the break of this. Well, my impulse entry would then be the break of this 30-minute low if the candle can create a top wick first, because then we will be creating the resistance at support, and then there's a probability that we're going to break this low and then continue moving down. It's just a probability aspect. So we're playing off those probabilities there. But we still got a few minutes here to go, to wait. A lot can happen in the last 2 minutes of a 15-minute candle. Because if you think about it now, we're coming into the last quarter of the 1 hour. So if it's going to flip bearish, it's going to want to happen in this last quarter. You know, that's kind of what we would have to assume. London rents are quite cheap at the moment because more people are moving away than in. Yeah, that's true. Especially with the people probably gone out to their holiday homes at the moment. Obviously, London's stuck in a lockdown. Man, I need to understand this way better because I always wait for closed candles on 30-minute. I mean, a lot of times it's already down a lot. But that's not a bad thing, actually. Waiting for 30-minute candles to close is actually a good thing. It's something that I encourage for newer traders, 100%. And then as you get better, you'll start to see moves that you missed because you because you didn't wait. But you know, you can't look at one time and then think, okay, now I know how to catch it already next time, because that's not necessarily how it works. You need to see something happen, you know, maybe 5, 6, 8 times, and then when you see that same setup work 8 times, then you're gonna have the confidence to execute. So yeah, but honestly, don't worry about that, because you know, I still got people in the group right now that only wait for 30-minute candle closes. It's not a bad thing at all. You're gonna miss out on some moves, but that's just how it works. I mean, even me waiting for impulse entries, I still miss out on moves all the time. I mean, I missed out on that initial push this morning, but I had no problem with that. Yeah, I had no issue with missing out on those sells. It was very messy, even at close with no wick to the bottom, so it wouldn't have made sense for me to take them. But I still missed that move, you know. So it is what it is. Okay, so now we are coming into the last 15 minutes of the 1 hour and the 30-minute. So this is a mistake that I've made before. This sort of trade happened before in I think it was in December or November, and what happened was it broke the low on the 15 but not the 30, and then continued back in the range. So which is probably why I'm going to want to wait for the 30-minute candle to close here. No, sorry, not 30-minute candle to close. We want to see the break of the low of the 30-minute, not the 15. Yeah, good point. I was paying more in Nottingham with rent and bills. Yeah, that's crazy, man. But I mean, London's still very expensive. Like, I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, I used to do, which I don't mind discussing. So I used to do like construction work. I also used to do carpet fitting as well. And when I did carpet fitting, obviously all my jobs were all around the North London area. And a lot of the jobs that I used to do was like rentals, because obviously the landlord would be paying for the new carpet or whatever, and the state of some of the houses that I had to work in. And you know, I'd always ask, not because out of, you know, rudeness or anything, but just out of curiosity, I'd always ask, you know, like, oh, so how much is the rent on a you know, 1 bed like this or a 2 bed like this? And trust me, some of the prices I was told for the hellholes that they were was just crazy. I mean, there was a guy paying $1,200 a month for a 1 bed, and yeah, man, like, it was an absolute dump. I mean, it was horrific. It was horrific. It had mold. You know, when I stripped back the carpet, it had wood rot all underneath. I mean, it was vile. I mean, the kitchen and the front room all were in one room, and there was literally 1 bed, and it was more, 1 bedroom, sorry. It was more like a closet than a bedroom. I mean, I felt so sorry for the guy, but, I mean, what can you do? Like, obviously nothing I can do about it, but you do feel bad for some people, you know. But it opened my eyes to actually, you know, people were charging a lot of rent for absolute crap holes. So I suppose it was a early realization why it's so important to, you know, build the foundations to, you know, having your own home, you know, whether it be through a mortgage and whatnot. Because when you rent, like, I mean, it was like 8 out of 10 rentals were just dumps. You know, you obviously got the odd one, maybe that I did a job in a bit more of an affluent area. The actual accommodation would be slightly better. But in most cases, I mean, for the price, I mean, it's crazy. Some of the places are just disgusting. And I mean, let alone what you think the carpet was like. I mean, the carpet was, you had green mold coming off of it and everything. So yeah, well, there you go. You learn a little bit about me. I used to do a little bit of handyman stuff. Yes, I've been on the tools. Yeah, I've done it all, man. I used to be a laborer as well for construction. Did construction for many years. That I preferred doing carpets just because it was warmer. You used to go inside and it was pretty warm. Construction was a bit crap because even if it was raining, you still have to be out in it, digging or whatever. So, but yeah, I suppose that was a bit of motivation for me. I mean, doing shit work like that, where you're literally slaving your ass and just getting a monthly wage to get soaked and just disgusting. And yeah, I suppose it was a bit of motivation to work harder at something I wanted to do, so yeah. But I think the moral of the story is, we all have to do jobs we don't like sometimes to get where we want to be, Okay. Bro, I was the same. Worked as a duck for 5. Ooh, I don't even know what that is. You'd have to explain to me what that is. Ooh, we're coming down over here. If we break this low on the 30-minute, then I'm gonna execute sells with this last 10-minute push here. Ooh, we're coming down to break the low. If we break this low on the 30-minute, then there we go. I'm in sells over here. Perfect. Awesome. Okay, so executed sells. Sorry, I know we were talking, but I've executed sells. The stop is going to be kept above the current 30-minute candle, and then we're expecting now price to continue moving down in the last part of the 1 hour time frame. Now, looking at where we can reduce risk. I mean, if the 15-minute candle starts to flip bullish, this is the point I can immediately close 50%. And then again, we have our stop loss up over here. Because this is a more riskier entry, we do need to be making sure that we are being, cautious with our risk here. Because this is a more riskier entry at this point. So, again, going to be cautious. And let's wait and see what happens here.
Yeah, it could definitely work out. I'm just going to stay out because, I don't know, that last half an hour candle was pretty strong.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather see a break below this level first, I think.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, yeah, I think even if, let's say, the 30-minute candle closes below, then, people who necessarily don't want to take the impulse entry, there's going to be that confirmation there. But my anticipation is since we've broken the low on the 30-minute, we also just flipped bearish on the 1 hour. That it makes sense for me to execute on that idea. But yeah, obviously we have to manage the risk as the trade plays out anyway. So I'm just focusing on where I can manage the risk, and then if it plays out, then it plays out. If it doesn't, then that's it. All you can do is manage risk. So looks like we're pushing into a little bit of profit here. Coming into the last 7 minutes. So this is the point we really want to see it moving, or at least staying now below this area for us to feel confident in the analysis. But even if it can close somewhere down over here, we've seen the structure a lot of times on the 1 hour, and then you should get a nice clean candle to fill this range. So this would be a really nice trade if this plays out this morning to start the week here. I will answer some questions after we... Oh, here we go. Come on, GJ. We're going to get that last 5-minute push. So see now, for me to hold the sells, we need to be closing below 148.485. That's where I want to see candles closing below for me to want to hold the sells at that point. But yeah, I think this should play out. We're coming into the last 5 minutes as well, so we should see a push. You know, if you look at the 15-minute candle as well, 15-minute candle looks like it's trying to close below this support, which is good. So, yeah, we're coming into the last 5 minutes of that 15-minute. So, yeah, I think we should continue moving down. Okay, let me answer a couple of questions here. Just while we wait. Oh, Doctor. Okay. Yeah, I think prices at the moment around 25% cheaper than normal. Oh, nice. Yeah, and carpet fitting was the last thing to be done, so places are mostly finished already. Yeah, that's true. The landlords, they seem to never want to spend the money on carpets, to be honest. That's why, you know, some of the jobs that I've done, a lot of the landlords, they would, you know, get a really cheap carpet. I mean, really cheap carpet, for like, you know, like £2 a meter, like something that's not even, it's like floor rather than carpet. And yeah, they would just replace it every like 10 years. You know, a lot of them really just don't want to spend the money on the properties, but it's just how it goes, I suppose. So yeah, we're coming into the last 5 minutes now, so we do really want to see price continuing with the momentum here. Last 5 minutes. You know, but if this 30-minute candle or, you know, candle closes back in the range, we will need to close some positions, you know, because, you know, at that point, there's a probability at that point that, you know, we may not continue down. So we do have to be cautious.
Are you in normal lot size, or are you gone a bit reduced?
I put it down to a 4 lot just because then I can manage risk a lot better. So the actual stop loss, even if it was to hit my full stop right now, the risk is only 300, right? So if I was to lose 300, I know that the immediate next time I take a trade, I'm going to be taking a full £500 win. So I'm back in profit. The other thing as well, if it's 300 and I close 50% over here, I can try and keep my losses, you know, within the 200 to the latter 100 mark. Then my wins, if they're around 400, 500, I can have 2 losses for every 1 win. So that's kind of how I want to keep the losses small. And then I think a good thing to think about is not focusing on having a winning trade every time, because it's not going to win every time. But if you focus on making sure your losses are smaller than you expected, then when you do win, you know, it's going to feel great that, you know, that 1 win put you back into profit. So ooh, yeah, see, since this 15-minute candle is closed, coming back up in the range at this point, this is the point at which I'm going to close 50%. There we go. Close 50% and a little bit of a drawdown. Don't know why, a little bit of a delay effect there. So yeah, just going to have to wait and see at this point. Because, you know, it came down to break the low, and now it's retracing back up in the range, so definitely want to be cautious here. Because if this candle closes bullish in the range, then more than likely, you know, there's no sells at that point. So yeah, so I've closed 50% of my position in a little bit of drawdown here. Because since, look, the 30-minute came all the way down, it broke this low. We should have had momentum in the last few minutes of the 1 hour. And now it's coming back up in the range. Look at this 30-minute here. Yeah. So if the candle breaks its own high, I know it's not going to be a lot, but probably just going to close the full position at that point so we don't have a stop loss hit. There we go. I'm out. I'm out of this position. Got out of this position early. Would have got stopped out. So there we go. That's my 1 impulse entry chance. See, this happened to me last time. But see, this time I used less risk. I also managed the trade. Just a probability aspect. So if we look at the loss over here. I got out. So the original risk I said was around 310, 320 pounds with a smaller lot. And I got out with a £199 loss. So that's not too bad. You know, that's not bad at all. Considering, you know, this, again, a lot of times this is going to play out. So this is why managing risk is really important. So yeah, we got out there with a minus £200 loss, and that's it. That's the one trade. Not going to take another impulse entry now. So now for another sell, we would want to see a break and close below 140, 480 for me to want to take a second opportunity there. But that's it. So we had trades here this morning. So we had GJ sells, and it was around, what was the minus there? Probably around, I suppose around minus 5 pips. In real terms, it was around minus 5 pips. So yeah, price came down to break the low. The 1 hour was flipping bearish. The 30-minute also was breaking the low. We had a lot of things on our side. So it's just, again, it's just one of those probability aspects there. So it's just good to manage risk. And then now we have to just wait. So yeah, look, came all the way down to go all the way back up to go bullish. You know, it made no sense for it to do that. But again, that's why you have to manage your risk and manage your trade. So yeah, nothing at this point now. Taken my one trade so far, and now we're just gotta wait for stronger confirmations to look for any type of other entry. So yeah. Okay, sorry, let me get back to the YouTube. Just finish off what I was reading. I'm just trying to concentrate on the entry there. Much better in the summer. Yes, I think working in the summer is always going to be better. Not going in when the building is just a shell. Working on the 20th floor with no walls in mid-Jan. Yeah, I think that's how most people get motivated into trading. Definitely. HFX, can I get a second opinion on GJ idea? Thank you. Yep, let's check out this chart over here. So guys, don't be disheartened if you took a loss to start the Monday. You know, that's just trading. If you manage your risk, then you can come back tomorrow and you can take a winning trade tomorrow when price is going to be setting up better. But we see this happen a lot of times, so just one is what it is. Okay, so you're looking at the 1 minute time frame. So you're looking, I presume you're looking for buys above 140,800. Makes sense. And then sells below 140,500. Yeah, definitely makes sense. If we take a look, so 140,800. Yeah, 140,800. I would say 147.60 based on the 30-minute time frame makes the most sense. Just because then we have a clean range. I would agree there's a resistance at 140,800. But I feel as though this area, since we create a resistance here below the support, if we was to break above this area, then I think there's a high chance it could continue bullish at that point. Same way with your idea with sells below 140,500. Yeah, I suppose it's kind of same area that I was looking for sells below this area, but it seems as though this was a liquidity grab to continue higher because we did break this low. And yeah, it's just one of those things there, just one of those probability aspects there. So perfect. Okay, labor in property is good money. I used to do property management and used to pay so much for them, especially for a good one. Yeah, that's true. Broke the 1 hour low too. I think this should work out well. Yeah, it broke the 1 hour low. It broke everything. It got below everything and then retraced. So when that happens, you just have to accept that it was a liquidity grab. You just have to accept that the probabilities weren't there. And as long as you managed your risk, then you know you shouldn't feel any different about this trade than if it was a win, because I would take that setup every time. Every time I would take that setup. So, the only thing that maybe we could have done better, the only thing, is waited for the 15-minute candle to close below. But then there was an indefinite chance we would miss that move. There was an indefinite chance we would miss that move at that point. How do you know the pair will continue to go bearish? I don't know whether price is going to go up, down. I can only look at what are the probabilities of it doing so. That's all trading is, and that's what trading is to me, is probabilities. You know, there was a 80-70% chance that once we break this low, we would continue down with momentum. You know, we have clean candle to the left. So everything was on our side, just not that 10%, that 20% where it just doesn't work out. So that's it. It could bounce off support. Yeah, but that's the price that you pay. Especially when taking impulse entries. You know, like I say, if you're not comfortable with taking impulse entries, then you could have waited for this candle to close. If I wait for this candle to close, I would have avoided this loss. You know, so, but that is the price that you pay for taking impulse entries. Is they are riskier entries, which is why it's so important to manage your risk with those type of trades. Will this retest? Possibly, but I think right now it's just consolidating in this range here. So, you know, the second chance we would kind of give the sells is if we consolidate here, and then we have a candle break and close below 140, 480, and then we could then at that point give the sells a second chance. Not necessarily an impulse entry, but an actual, you know, break and close. If you don't mind me asking, how much capital do you trade with? I do mind people asking that, just because, you know, it's different me showing the profits, but, you know, when people know how much money you got in a bank. But, you know, if you want to work it out, right, if I'm trading 5 lots or 4 lots and I use around 2% risk, 3% risk, then, you know, I'm sure you could kind of roughly work out what I'm trading with.
Doesn't really matter anyway how much you've got. It's not going to make a difference to them, is it?
No, exactly. I understand, you know, people want to know how much they may need to make a certain amount, but, you know, that's all kind of individual, you know, because some people only want to use 1%, some people only want to use 0.5% risk. So it doesn't really, yeah, like you said, it doesn't really matter, but yeah, anyway. Idea was certainly 100% there. Yeah, idea was there. You just have to know that, again, it was a probability. So yeah, I've said that many times. Is it me or the last hour GJ and gold are moving exactly the same way? I think that's just a coincidence. There's no correlation directly to how they exactly move. What time are your entry normally before European Open? I would say if I was looking for a trade before London Open, I would say it's going to be at 7 a.m. 7 a.m. usually see a push. But, you know, if you look at this particular 7 a.m. candle, yeah, it was kind of like a difficult one. It was very difficult to anticipate. What broker and leverage are you using? 1 to 500 and Vantage FX. Looks like price is coming back up in the range. Take a look at the 1 hour. Look at this now. It's correcting that whole move. It's correcting this move down from London Open. Let's take a look at Euro NZD here. We didn't check out Euro NZD here. Let's take a look on the 4 hour. So it seems as though the 4 hour broke above this area, but seems as if the current 4 hour candle is looking like it wants to come back in the range. Take a look on the 1 hour. Yeah, it seems as though the 1 hour time frame tried to create a support over here to continue moving up, but again couldn't do so. So now we have a support over here. Let's take a look at the 30-minute. Yeah, it seems as though it created a support down over here on the 30-minute time frame, and now it wants to come back in this range. Ooh, looks like Euro JPY rejected that 126.980 area. It's now coming back to retest the low. Yeah, difficult there on Euro JPY. We didn't really look at GBP CAD this morning. Yeah, GJ is quite messy at the moment. So there's nothing really to do at this point. There's no buys, there's no sells. There's no nothing really, so just gotta wait. Then we can remove this target here now. Probably gonna sell. Question is why? I think you should be asking yourself that one. I can't ask her why you would want to sell, because I don't want to sell, and I'm not selling until we get a strong confirmation for sales at this point.
How many pips did you just use, NH?
5 pips. Yeah. So the original risk was around 10 pips, and then got out with a minus 5 pip loss.
It's not bad.
So, I mean, let's take a look on maybe like the 5 minutes, see how we could have anticipated. So I suppose, I mean, I was looking at that, but the thing was, is it could have broke the high and then continued back down. But it seems as though since it broke the high of the 5 minute that closed below this area, since it broke that high, it came right back up in the range. So that could have been a point I closed 50%, but either way I managed to close 50% somewhere over here, because this is where the candle flipped bullish. So once it flipped bullish, I closed 50% in around 6 pip drawdown, and then as the rest came up to hit stop loss, I closed the full position, as evidently it was just going to come right back up in the range. Yeah, it seems as though we're just consolidating here now at this point between 146.20 and 144.80. Okay, we've got 43 minutes left for the 4-hour candle to close. 1-hour candle's coming back to this area after rejecting this 146.20 area again. Let's take a look on the 30-minute. Yeah, it seems as though the 30-minute candle is trying to close potential bearish here. Only issue we have on the 15-minute time frame is we do have this consolidation. So yeah, just gonna need to wait here for a little while. It's funny though, because when I saw I was taking the trade, the viewers on the stream immediately went up by like 20. So there's definitely them people there. They must skip between streams to see who's taking a trade and who's not, just for them to copy.
Yeah, they probably wait and see like until they see something they might think could be a trade, and they'll jump on all the streams and just check it.
Yeah, who else is taking it? I think their confirmations for a trade is how many different traders have taken the same setup.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh well, I don't do it for those people anyway. I do it for the people that, want to learn. So you're always gonna get those people that come on and just try and copy, but obviously I don't do it for those purposes. I do it for the people who want to learn how to do this. Plus I do it as well because I enjoy it, and because I think it makes me a better trader. Because I have to, if I'm gonna teach and I'm gonna, show my full transparency, then I want to be, it motivates me to be on my best game, so.
I'm just going to say, like, on the time frames in the top left corner, you've got one that says 22 minutes.
Do I?
I don't know if is that a glitch? You see it there? Click on it.
No, it's not. It's not a glitch. I obviously have accidentally added that.
Can you do like custom ones, can you?
Well, you must be able to.
Oh yeah, you can.
But where is that? It's not up here.
It's down the bottom. It says minutes one add, so you can probably change it exactly what you want.
Oh yeah. Imagine if we just found like the 32-minute time frame gives the best confirmation.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah. I'll have to remove this. I don't know how to.
I don't know how to move it either.
Because surely it would come up with my minutes. It should be the 22-minute candle, but it's not there.
Have you got like the Pro, is it, or Premium?
Yeah. No, I got the Pro version. Oh well, I suppose it just have to stay there, but good spot anyway. Yeah. Hidden gem, yeah. Yeah, secretly, I don't actually take trades off the 30-minute. I look at the 22-minute time frame. Just because if you can see on the 22-minute time frame, we're clearly creating this further resistance. And actually, if the 22-minute candle closes below this 22-minute support, there's a very high chance that it's going to continue down. No, I'm just kidding. I've got to stick to the 30-minute. 15 minutes, super messy. I think we can also argue that based on the 15-minute time frame, we are reacting to this area here. So I think this is our new range, because if we break above 145.80, then there's a good chance that we could retest 14700, 146.90. But then at the same time, we're looking for can price break and close below 144.80. That same area we anticipated further downside, and then expecting price to continue moving bearish to 140.300. So yes. Wait for a top wick from the 11-minute candle. Yeah, that's very true. Yeah, a lot of times if the 11-minute candle closes in your direction, the overall 22-minute candle also goes in your direction. So yeah, I know the 15-minute time frame is pretty messy, but I think it's going to be okay here to kind of wait for price to break out, because on the 15-minute it's fairly evident that we're consolidating. Because look, since we're consolidating here, probably the other reason, well, the first reason, obviously the sell didn't play out here because we broke the low and then we came right back in the range. So the minute you see that, at that point that price is ranging, because when candles break highs and lows, there's a higher probability they're going to continue in that direction. And you can see here that we broke this high and then closed back in the range. So now we can see here that 2 impulse entries in effect haven't worked. So we broke the high, came back in the range, broke the low, came back in the range. So now at this point you would need a candle to close above or below this range for any trade to be valid. Now you're also accepting that if it breaks out erratically and just, you know, just drops or just moves up, that you're accepting that you've missed that trade. So yeah, I mean, to be honest, I gave the one sells a chance. You know, the last thing I want to do is be jumping right back into any form of impulse entry again, unless it's like a better, stronger confirmation of an impulse entry. But yeah, I don't know. I think gonna wait for a stronger confirmation either way. But there's a type of impulse entry where, let's say, the 15-minute candle breaks and closes below, and then the next 15-minute candle breaks the low of that candle to continue down. That also happens a lot of times. I'd say the only good thing here that we can kind of see, focusing in on the 30-minute, we can see how the 30-minute candle is creating a resistance, right? We can see the 30-minute candle is creating a resistance. So in effect, so is the 1 hour. So in effect, you know, there's a high chance that the next 30 minutes should also continue down. But I think the best option is going to be to wait for at least a 15-minute candle to close below this minus support, and then I think we can take a sell once the next candle breaks that low. But yeah, let's just wait for this 30-minute candle to close, and then we can assess it from there. Isn't that make impulse trade is a risk one? Yeah, impulse entries are a riskier trade. They are a riskier entry. That is exactly why I say to focus on managing the risk once you're in an impulse entry. Like, for example, my sell was taken here and my stop loss was above the current candle. So as you can see, had I not managed risk, I would have taken a full stop loss hit. But because obviously I managed the risk, managed the trade, I could at that point get out with a smaller loss than I anticipated.
It might be quite tempting to get in after this 15-minute closes below, but I think if you look on the 4 hour, we might just still close above this area. So just be careful, I think, if anyone's going to take a trade.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah, I would agree. I think we could just consolidate here anyway. So, I mean, yeah, in theory, I'm still going to wait at least for this support to break, because if the next 30-minute comes down, wicks down, and then starts to drive up, I would agree with you 100%. But I think if we do have a candle closing below this area, even if we're coming into the 4 hour close, I mean, that was evident from last week that even if you're coming into the 4 hour close, sometimes it's just gonna continue. So yeah, I don't know. Let's just wait and see anyway, because we got like 3 minutes left here. We've also got 2 minutes left here for this 15-minute candle to close. So
you've got a point, because I suppose that 30-minute has like wicked up and it's just now rejected it quite hard.
Yeah, this is obviously a deeper rejection that was needed, and now we're coming down pretty heavy. So I'm not inclined to take a sell. Like, I think I would agree with you on what would be risky was to take this break of the low, expecting the next 30 to continue, which is what I would usually do had I not taken the other trade. But I think on this particular occasion, I want to see a candle close below this support. So probably want to see a 15-minute candle closing below this area. So yeah. Otherwise, you know, you could easily just get caught in that range again. So at least if we have a 15-minute candle closing below, necessarily, I'm not going to take it on the close. I could take it as the next one breaks the low, which is going to give me that just little bit extra confirmation, which could also keep you out of another losing trade. The other good thing as well is that the 1 hour candle is trying to close bearish. So as long as the 1 hour candle closes bearish, you know, in effect, it presents for the next 1 hour to also continue down, which may mean that we could see some consolidation. See, the way that this 30-minute candle is coming to a close, I think price is struggling in this area. So this is why maybe we'll need at least a 15-minute candle to close below this area for the sell to be valid. But you never know. I mean, we could easily come up and then break above 145.80 and then continue on at that point. So, but the bias is still bearish. So the 30-minute candle closed bearish, right? It closed bearish. I think from this aspect, see, if I didn't take the first trade, then I'd be looking at an anticipation of this minor support to break. But at the same time, let's take a look on the 1 hour. Yeah, at the same time, this 15-minute candle closed pretty weak. Yeah, we're not really sure at this point. There still needs to be a bit more waiting involved, I think, before we give the bias a second chance. Do you attend MY session also? No, I don't trade MY session. I think there's some guys in the group that do, but I don't personally trade the MY session. Yeah, GJ's not been simple today. GJ's been a little bit, probably quite tough this morning. What's your typical daily routine? That's quite a good question. So my typical daily routine, obviously I can't do it right now because gyms are closed, we're all locked up. So yeah, my typical daily routine will be get up around 6:45, 6:40 a.m. Make a drink, kind of like get freshened up, get down to the computer, get on the charts for around 7, and then trade from around 7 to around 10:30, trade till around 10:30 a.m. and then that's my trading day done. Once I've finished trading, then I'll usually go to the gym for about an hour and a half, come back, eat, and then technically at that point my day is done. So from about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, my day is finished, and then from then I will come back, do a trade breakdown, so whatever happened on the stream, kind of analyze, review performance, maybe create some videos, webinars, do some simulations, whatever. Just always trying to do something productive. So yeah, that's kind of my daily routine on a normal basis, I suppose. Yeah. Best advice to grow an account. To grow a trading account, I would just say, obviously, you need to start with something small, something that you're comfortable with losing, and then as it grows, you can deposit more into that account. So if you did 10% a month, let's say for 3 months, then you may say, okay, I can deposit a bit more now, and then try and achieve that same goal again for the next 3 months. And then because you got more on your account, you're going to make that 10% a lot quicker. So yeah, that's what I would kind of say, to be perfectly honest. Hello, any thoughts on EJ sells? Yeah, let me check out your JPY. My thoughts on EJ, I mean, yeah, let's take a look on the 15-minute time frame. Okay, yeah, I would say sales look good. The problem is that this 15-minute candle closed weak. Now, let's say you're in sales, you would expect this high to be respected. You'd also expect the overall 30-minute high to be respected. And yeah, I think there's a good chance it can continue down. Let's look at for a target. Yeah, I think a good target is going to be right over here, this support. So let's see if there's enough range. Yeah, I think if you were looking for sells, it should have been on the close or this little top wick. You'd have had to have kept the stop below the previous candle, but there's not a lot of range. There's only like 9.5 pip range to a support. So I mean, if you're in sells, then I would say you want to be securing profits over here, and then try and let a piece run to maybe, let's take a look at the 15-minute time frame. Yeah, try and maybe let a piece run coming down to 126.620, which is going to be around another 8 pips away. So yeah, that's probably your best bet there. But I think EJ sales look good. There's probably going to be a pullback because it's been moving quite a bit now for Euro JPY. But yeah, I think it's going to continue down at this point. Let's go to GJ. Let's see what GJ is doing over here. So the 30 minutes flipping bearish now. It broke the high on the 15-minute time frame. So I mean, if I was looking for an impulse entry, which I'm not, it would be the break of this 15-minute low since we broke the high. But I'm still gonna wait to see if we can get a candle closing below this area. Thanks, bro. Love the channel. Keep it up, boss. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. We have a lot of good people, kind people that come on the stream. So I appreciate every one of you. Oh, it broke the low already. So the 30 minute is now broken the low of the previous 30 minute. The 15 minute candle has also broken the low of the previous 15 minute candle. Since we're coming into the last 5 minutes though, I think it's going to be really nice if it can close below this area. If it can close below this area, then I think if the next one can wick up, respect this high, and then continue moving down, that would be a really nice move. But do really need it to close below. Because in theory, this is all consolidation, you know. Despite looking at the 30 minute, yeah, the 30 minute looks like, you know, it's going to continue down. Look at the 1 hour and you're like, yeah, the 1 hour is creating resistance, going to continue down. But in theory, like the 15 minutes still consolidating. So until you see the smaller time frames start to break out, the higher time frames aren't going to. So this is why I'm going to have to wait here for the candles to close. But there seems to be a strong level for sure, which is kind of what I was, you know, conscious of. This level here was a strong area. $3 minutes, and then the 30 minutes got 18 minutes. Okay. Okay, how many people we got here? We got around 71 people. It's pretty good. Yeah, so I just want to say, obviously, we did a giveaway at 1,000 subscribers. I think it would be nice to do another giveaway at 2,000 subscribers. So if you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel, make sure you are. Probably around 1,500, I'll announce the next competition, or I'll announce that next next competition around 1,500 followers. And then I think so looking at GJ now, looks like this candle is going to come down, potentially break this support here. I think if it can close below successfully, and then the next one can wick up and then break the low, can have a nice sell to give the sells a second chance. But I do want to wait for a candle to close below this area, because this, see, since this is, again, this is like the last 15 minutes of the 4 hour, also last 15 minutes of the 1 hour. Well, we can't do anything now anyway, because, you know, candle's still closing above this support here. I'm not really looking to take an impulse entry on the break of this low, although it may play out. I think it's going to be best to wait for a candle to close below this area. Still going to be the best option that we have. Okay, GJ just breaking top and bottom wick, making it difficult for people. I think we're gonna have to wait here until we at least can close out of this range. Otherwise, it's just too risky. Took 2 trade and lost. Managed my trade and just lost 5 pips each, calling it a day. I think that's going to be a wise decision. If you've taken 2 trades already, then I think it's going to be a very good idea to call it a day. Since I've only taken 1 trade, it gives me an opportunity to look for a re-entry, a second trade. But like in theory, you know, I don't need to take a second trade. So it's only if I see something I want to see happen and print, which, judging now, we're not really sure. I'm definitely not looking for an impulse entry. But what would be nice if we can get a candle closing below this area, and then the next one can break the low and continue down. It's crazy to think we've been going for like 2 hours already. Although trading, you know, some people are going to say, oh, it's boring, but for me, it goes very quick. For me, trading goes super quick. Well, I find it does anyway. Oh. Yeah, I find it does anyway. Yeah, this has not been a good session so far. Obviously not the stream, but the market. Yeah, I still believe that we're gonna need a close below this area for the sell to be completely valid. Take a look at gold here quick. Ooh, gold looks like it can continue moving down. Since we create like a support over here, we're now rejecting this area, creating a resistance. I think with some volume we could break this support, and then gold may even continue down. 1835 I think is incoming for gold if this area is respected. So we'll keep an eye on that. Yeah, I wonder if we break this low, if we're going to see a big volume push. But I still don't think it's going to be the right thing to do. It makes the most sense, like it makes complete sense. But I don't think it's going to be the right thing to do. But yeah, here we go. So it's coming down to break this low. Since it's breaking the low right now, I think it should continue moving down at this point. I think a good stop loss would be the previous candle, and then you can use the current candle as time to manage risk. But yeah, so let's have a look. Yeah, I think a better idea is if this candle closes below this area and then the next one breaks the low of that candle, then we can use the current 15-minute candle stop loss as a stop loss and then expect price to continue down. But I really feel like we're going to need to wait for a candle to close below this area for these sells to be valid. I'm noticing that I have a 100% win rate when I scalp on a 30-minute candle closed breakout on pound yen. What other pairs do you suggest so I could try this on others? Well, I would suggest that if you have a 100% win rate on the 30-minute candles with pound yen, then I would suggest sticking to that. And then, having a really high win rate and, yeah, I mean, you're not necessarily going to trade every day, but, if you have a higher win rate with that, then that makes more sense. But if you really want to look at other pairs that move quite similar, I'd say Euro NZD moves similar to GJ. A little bit more tough, but I would say it moves similar. I'd say Euro JPY also moves similar. Again, can be difficult though, EJ. Not quite always the same, but similar. But, GJ is probably the best for if you're looking for, 30-minute confirmations. And, yeah, GJ is the best, in my opinion. But there's plenty of other pairs. I think Euro JPY, Euro NZD, GCAD's very difficult, but sometimes 30 minutes gonna play out well. Not a lot, not regularly, but yeah, I'd say if you want to be the most consistent, it's gonna be GJ, but I'd say Euro NZD also pretty good. So yeah, look, we broke the low and can just back in the range now, last 7 minutes. So I suppose, yeah, I think it's pretty good to wait for a good confirmation instead of taking 2 impulse entries. Consistency is prio for me. Do you mean priority? Yeah. I mean, to be honest, if you're having a good win rate with GJ, waiting for 30-minute candle to close, then I personally think just stick to that. That would be the best advice I think I can give would be to stick to that. But again, it's up to you, I can only advise. Yeah, I would just stick to that then, to be completely honest, because You got a high win rate with that. There's no reason to put that at jeopardy. You know, the issue you have is, without this coming across in a rude way at all, the problem you have is the minute when people become profitable or they get consistent, they want to, explore. And that's perfectly fine. I mean, look, I'm exploring. Look how many different pairs I have. But I know that if I want to take a winning trade, it's got to be sticking to my main pair, the one that I know the best, the one that I'm best at, and that's GBP JPY. So other pairs like gold, Euro JPY, or NZD, these are pairs that I take a trade, very rarely, and it's got to be something I see happen a lot of times for me to want to execute on it. But with GJ, because I'm so focused on GJ, it allows me to, I've seen a lot of things happen, and I have the best success with GJ, so that's why I stick to that pair, because I have the best success with it. Okay, we're coming into the last 5 minutes. It's coming back below this area. Let's take a look on the 5 minute. Ooh, 5 minute. Look at this 5 minute candle over here. Yeah, if the next one breaks this low, may continue down, but 5 minutes a little bit difficult confirmation. I think as well, if the 30-minute candle can close below. In fact, if the 15-minute candle closes below, that's still the 30-minute candle closing below as well. So we've got double confirmation at that point. So I think that could be a good idea for maybe like a second chance. But same time, again, I want to see a break of that low, and then I can anticipate price to continue moving down. But we need to see a break and close below this area. Would you have taken EJ at the close of the 30-minute? I think it made sense, definitely. Yeah. Oh, it's coming down to our second target over here. Yeah, I think I would have taken EJ sells, just not on this particular occasion, because I'm waiting. Like, if I take a trade on GJ, I'm not going to then want to jump onto Euro JPY just because Euro JPY has the confirmation. I'm going to want to stick to my one pair and, wait to see if I can get a second opportunity to enter in that trade. But yeah, no, I think if I was just looking at Euro JPY, yeah, I would have been in sales for sure. So let's take a look on the 15 minutes, see what's going on over here. Yeah, it seems to be really struggling here, but again, let's just wait, see if it can close below. It's very important. But we're also accepting if it does just run in the last 2 minutes, then again, like, that's just, it is what it is,
Yeah, I'm going to get in if this 5 minute can close below, but I'm aware that it's a 4 hour open as well, so it could wick up.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Let's take a look. Yeah. I think we should just focus on the smaller time frames. And then why, and that's kind of why I want to wait for the break of the low, because then if it does just pull up, then we know, okay, it maybe be creating that top wick, so. But again, look, it's not even closing below this range yet, so technically there's no confirmation yet at this point. Okay, last minute here. Looks like we're coming back below this area. Let's take a look on the 30 minute. 30-minute candle also trying to close below. Coming to close below. Oh, it's kind to break down now in the last 20 seconds here. So we want to see it retrace and close below this area. Ten seconds left here. So yeah, let's wait and see, because if this candle closes with no wick or anything like that, okay, so the candle's closed bearish, it's closed below this area. I mean, ideally I want to see it wick up first, because it's also the new 30 minute, the 1 hour time frame also. So look at this, the 1 hour candle closed below, the 30-minute candle closed below, the 15-minute candle closed below. So there is now a definite strong confirmation for price to continue moving bearish for sure. So yeah, I probably want to see a little bit of a wick, top wick first, and then for price to break the low. But I mean, it's already come down and broken the low already in the first couple minutes here. So not getting no FOMO at this point. If it runs very quickly, then, you know, again, not going to be rushing into it, but at the same time, just wait to see how it sets up here, because we should see a little bit of a pullback. You know, like Kelsey was saying, it's the 4 hour open, so obviously we would like to see a bit of a top wick first, you know. Okay, perfect. So now if it comes down to break the low again at this point, this would be the point where I'd execute the sell, and then could keep the stop originally, I think, above the previous 15-minute candle is going to be good, and then using the current candle as a guide for how we can manage risk, you know, because if then the current candle high gets broken, our probabilities are reduced at that point. I'm going to use normal risk now, because now we have a stronger confirmation trade. You know, we have a 1 hour candle closing below, we have a 30-minute candle closing below, we have the 15-minute candle closing below. So if we come down to break this low again, then I'll execute on this idea.
Yeah, I'm in this already.
Nice. Yeah,
Can reduce risk on the 15-minute as well, so it's good.
Yeah, so I'm in sales at this point too now at this point.
Let's go, GJ.
Perfect. Already moving into some profits here. Yeah, my entry's around over here. So the stop is going to be originally above the previous 15. If it breaks its own high at this point, we can also, you know, manage the risk at that point. But now we should really be expecting this 30-minute to continue moving down. So yeah, I think above the previous 15-minute candle is going to be good. So yeah, giving the trade a second chance here. Hopefully the sales are going to play out. We can have a good day here today. Let's take a look on the 5-minute also. Yeah, see, if we break this 5-minute high, that's probably the point I'd close 50% right over here. Because we respected it in the first couple minutes. We've got a minute left for this 5-minute candle to close. If it closes bearish, it's presenting for the next candle. So yeah, definitely was important to wait here for this candle to close, and then we could have a better confirmation, second chance for sells, you know. But if we didn't wait, then we could have had a, you know, like a second loss on an impulse entry. Okay. Oh yeah, I need to put my target. So the target is gonna be 140, 300. That's the ultimate target. But obviously I'll be securing positions at 10 pips and then letting the rest run and whatnot. HFX, would you ever put music on the stream? I did at one point, but I got so many complaints. I just stopped. So we're moving into some profits at this point. It's pretty good. What's the sell target? 140, 300 is a good target. Oh, here we go. Come on, GJ. Beautiful. I mean, as we reach around, 7, 8 pips profit, you can start to bring the stop loss above the current 15-minute candle. Because now we're really expecting price to continue running. Oh, GJ, you beauty. Keep going. Yeah, if we can secure back the loss and a bit of profit today, I'll be super pleased with that. Come on, GJ. Yeah, it's looking good so far. Yeah, see, it has no business breaking its own high. Now, look at this 5-minute candle. Yeah, it has no business.
I've moved my stop above the 15-minute high.
Yeah, nice. I will do that eventually, but if it breaks its own high, that's just the point I would, probably close 70%, something like that. But yeah, it's looking good so far. Everything's in our favor. We just need to, again, not get over, what's the word? You can never be complacent. You gotta be, is that the right? Yeah, you gotta be complacent, because we never know, it could easily come back up in the range, right? So we have to always see how we can manage risk. So I know that if we break this 5-minute high over here, then I'm closing 50%. But if this 5-minute candle flips bearish, then I think we're going to be off to the races at that point. We have to give it a little opportunity here to play out. But the best thing about, taking these type of entries is when you're expecting volume to continue and price pushes into profit, you have an opportunity at that point to manage your risk and manage your trade while you're in profit. So that's kind of what we're trying to achieve here. Seems as though there's a little bit of lack of volume here today, though. I will say that one. Ooh, nice, GJ. Pushing back into some profits here. What's the profit taking target? Oh, I think I said 140, 300 is going to be like the runner target over here. Why is your GBP JPY graph different from mine? Could be that you're using MT5. Could be that you're looking from a different liquidity provider. There's a number of reasons why. So here we go. Come on, GJ. If this 15-minute candle breaks its own low, then I think we're off to the races. Sorry, would someone mind muting themselves, please? Thank you. Yeah, if this 5-minute candle flips, man, I think we're going to have a really good day here today. Yeah, we've got a nice 15 pip range. We can secure positions. I think around 143.60 is where we'll secure positions and then try and see if we can let a piece run. Okay, so we're coming into the last 5 minutes of the 15-minute candle. This is either where it's going to flip bullish, right? And then, you know, it may need to create some resistance here, or it's going to continue moving down. So we want to make sure we're being careful. So looking at the 5-minute, yeah, as long as it respects this high and breaks this low, then it should continue pushing bearish. If it breaks this low right here, then we should see a nice move to the downside within this 15-minute candle. But as long as the 15-minute candle closes bearish, then, you know, again, we can start to reduce stop loss, bring the stops down, and then expect price to continue moving down. Oh, it's broken the high now. Yeah, I suppose I'm just still going to wait, though, because we're still respecting the highs that we want to see respected either way, so... So yeah, just got to be patient with it. It's not always just going to... I know GJ moves quick, but it's not always just going to run straight into your profits, you know. But yeah, now we're coming back to our entry point at this point. Let's take a look here, though. Obviously, we do want to be cautious as well. It's important to be cautious. But I mean, we've seen some crazy things happen. We've seen it flip and then come all the way back down, so... But yeah. Ooh, so running into a little bit of a drawdown here, but we've got 3 minutes left for this candle to close. So, I mean, kind of the idea here is we need it to close below 144.80 for the sell to be still valid at that point. Yeah, if it breaks its own high, then I'll close 50% of the position. Yeah, don't particularly want to take, you know, serious losses on a Monday. But we did get the confirmation for the second sell, so perfectly fine. Yeah, it'd just be nice if this is like a retest 5 minute and then it starts to flip or go weak. That would be awesome. Definitely feel way more confident in the sell at that point. So it's got 2 minutes left. Yeah, hopefully this is just a big retracement on the smaller time frames. And then the 15-minute can close strong, or that'll be good. That'll be good. But obviously we're not sure at this point. Okay, we've got around a minute left. A minute left at this point. If this 5-minute candle flips, I think... Yeah, I don't know. I need to just stop with the commentary. And just let it do what it's going to do. That's all you can do. You know, that's all you can do. Just let it print and see where we go. But it is definitely having some issues here. So yeah, we've got 40 seconds left. I will just want to see this candle closing bearish, and then I'll feel confident that the next 15-minute candle is going to respect this high and then continue moving down. You know, and then all we can do is really look at this area as to say, you know, well, if we break this 15-minute high, probably the probability is going to be a lot harder. So probably going to close 50%, maybe a little bit more, but at least 50% of the position if that does so. Okay, 15 seconds left. Obviously, the stronger the 15-minute candle closes, the better, because it gives further confirmation for the next one to go down. So the stronger this candle closes, the stronger the next one is likely to go down. So it looks like this candle's closing fairly strong here, and perfect. So 15-minute candle closed bearish. So that's the first 15 minutes of the 30-minute candle. I think obviously if the next candle comes up to break the high, then that's definitely the point at which I'm going to close 50% at least. But we really want to see this next candle continue moving down. Let's take a look on the 5-minute. So at least the 5-minute came all the way up and closed like a weak 5-minute. So if this one can break that low, I think this overall 15 should continue down at that point. It's creating that structure that we see happen a fair few amount of times on like the 15-minute time frames, sometimes the 30-minute time frame. So we're seeing the confluences. We just want to make sure candles are continuing in the way that we all look at that and are anticipating them to go. So yeah, just being extra cautious with every trade that we take. We got 94 people in there at the moment as well. It's pretty good for people to see if our second sell attempt is going to play out here. So hopefully this is just the top wick of the 15-minute, and then it's going to continue moving down. I think, yeah, my only concern is if we break this 5-minute high, there's a higher chance that it's going to hit and break the overall 15-minute high. So maybe this is another area I'm going to look to close 50% if we break this 5-minute high. But, yeah. Yeah, because it makes no sense for it to break this high right here. It should be continuing down. You know, the candles are closing weak bullish. We should be heading down if we're going to. So obviously I want to be as cautious as I can be, you know. Always want to be as cautious as you can be. So yeah, come on, 15 minutes. We all know you want to flip bearish. Yeah, if this flips bearish, I think we're going to be pretty good here to continue down. Come on. Yeah, hopefully this is just a liquidity wick. Oh, there we go. Perfect. So if we break this low right here, then I think we are heading downtown now on GJ. But this is good. So we broke that 5-minute low. Creating nice structure here at this point. Awesome. It's exactly what I want to see happen so far. Just got to make sure we're staying bearish. Yeah, it seems like there's a bit of lack of volume here today, though. I will say that. I will say that. You know, it doesn't feel quite as... Yeah, it doesn't seem like we have as much volume as we usually do anyway. Come on, 5-minute. We know you want to head down. There we go. Break your own low. Damn, GJ, what's going on here this morning? Yeah, it's not looking great. It's not looking... Ooh, see, since we're coming up to break this 5-minute high after breaking this low, I think I'm going to close 50% right over here. So I close 50%. We close 50%. And if we break this 15-minute high right over here, this is the point where I'm going to close a further 50% of the position. Really going to want to try and get out of this trade with, you know, minimal risk. So yeah, I closed 50% in a little bit of a drawdown, like a couple of pip drawdown, just to be safe. You know, it doesn't make sense what is happening right now, you know, if it's going to continue down. But of course, you want to leave a certain position in the trade in order for, you know, you to safeguard yourself. Okay, now since we've broken the high, there we go. So I closed a further 50% of the position. My magic keys just was a little bit bugging out there. But yeah, not really liking this at all now. Second probability aspect that just seems to be not playing out.
Yeah, I'm completely out of this now. Like, I was expecting it to just continue down like it normally would if it was in profits. Like I was in 6-pip profits and then it's just flipped up.
Yeah.
Don't really want to take any more of a loss.
Yeah, I've got like a 1.25 lot still running, because then if the 30-minute candle closes below this area, this could be the booby trap candle, and then the next one continues down. So at that point, what I would do is I would bring my stop loss to above the 30-minute, and then I would then let the rest run at that point. But yeah, for the moment, my stop is still up over here. So we'll just have to wait and see. But see, this is why managing risk is so important. So important. So if you think about the overall risk I had today, right? The overall risk I had today was around... so I risked nearly £900 today in a day, right? And in terms of the loss, that was... I'm talking maybe... So the sell that I've closed, like 75% of the position, I've got out with a minus £67 loss so far. So even if my one lot now goes into profits, right, and it continues, that position would be at least break even, or at least you know, a little bit into profit, and then I can call it a day knowing that, you know, I did the right thing and gave the sells a second chance, managed risk, and then let the rest play out to continue to target at that point. So yeah, we've got 7 minutes left. I'm thinking this 30 minutes gonna close like a booby trap candle, and then the next 30 minutes gonna continue down. But yeah, just sometimes it's just hard, you know. It's not always gonna do what you want it to do. So yeah, that is it now. I'm not adding any more positions. I'm not taking any more trades, right? So we gave the buyers 2 chances. Yep, the first chance was an impulse entry, didn't work out. We then explained that we would need then to wait for a higher confirmation trade. We had a 15-minute, a 30-minute, and a 1-hour candle all closing below support. So therefore, we gave the higher confirmation trade a second chance. And then now I'm leaving 25% of the position to run. Probably just going to set the TP at 140.300, because then if it does go into profits, the whole position will end up actually in profit, you know. So yeah, because if I let the position run, what I've got now, let's put TP 140.300 is going to give me, around £150 profit. So if it does that, then my loss and a little bit of the other loss would be covered at that point. So we're just being safe, being secure. take a look. Yeah. Again, just see when price is moving. See, when there's days like this is the days that a lot of people get fucked. You know, let's be honest. This is the days that people would have taken like 2-3 impulse entries by now. Then they see the confirmation happen. Then they're like, boom, yes, now I'm gonna go more risk because they think, okay, now the move's gonna happen. And then once again, something happens that, you know, ruins it. So yeah, I've got my 25% left on the table at this point. It's either going to hit stop loss or it's going to hit TP.
Are you still going to hold if it closes like weak bullish?
Yeah, I think so. Basically, what I would do is, let's say it closes right as it is right now. I'll bring the stop loss above these wicks here, and then, you know, just let the rest run at that point. Because then, if it does run to profit, I've the whole position's loss is covered. So there's that aspect, you know. Whereas if I close in a loss completely, I'm taking away that possibility of that happening. Obviously, if the candle closes back in the range, there's no point to hold the sell because there's no confirmation for that. It doesn't make sense. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna leave the rest of the 25% to run, and then keep the stop just kind of like slightly above this this wick area here, and then anticipate price to continue further down. But yeah, I think either way, guys, a real good managed trade. I mean, to have a 5 lot and to get out with a minus £70 loss is pretty good. And then we have the aspect of, you know, if this trade ends up running to TP with the 25% left running, then that's not even going to be a loss. I'm going to have made that back and a little bit extra on top. So can't really complain. But yeah, let's see what happens here anyway, because we do have 3 minutes left. I was really expecting this 15-minute to continue down, though. I will say that. I think we was all really expecting GJ just to keep on running. It looks so good. But again, when price just moves like this, that's it. Like, you just have to accept it. We've got 97 people on right now. We're literally like 3 people away from a full house. A full 100. Yeah, that'd be super good. Yeah, so we've got like 2 minutes left here.
I only ended up taking like a 2.5 pip loss, so I'm actually quite happy with that.
Yeah, that's great. You know, to think first trade, you manage your risk, it's perfect.
Yeah. I know I closed it all, but if I'm not comfortable in it, I'm not going to stay in it.
100%. No, I think that's really good. Yeah, but if this candle comes up to break its own high, that's where I'm closing the full position. See, it's about to break its own high in a second here. That's where I want to be cautious, because obviously I don't want it to pop straight back up into the range. Yeah, I'm out. I'm out of the trade now. No 25% running. I'm all out. See, it's coming right back up in the range. Such a hard possibility now it's going to hit stop loss. So I think overall I've come out with, yeah, £100 loss for the second trade, £190 loss, 199 for the first trade. So overall a minus £300 trade, which is nothing in the grand scale of you know, 1 win tomorrow and we're back in the game. So manage risk, manage the trade, boom, perfect. Well done. I still feel the same, even though it was a loss. And I believe that we have hit TP here today on the stream. We have 101 people watching the stream here, so fantastic. We've hit a record.
Yeah, well done.
So,
Nice one.
awesome. Okay, yeah, so we gave the buyers 2 chances. We gave the sellers 2 chances. I know you're going to see some other people have won trades today, but there's going to be days that you win and they lose. So don't be focusing on that. So I think I got out of that trade with like a -2 pips. Yeah, I did, because it was a £100 loss with a £500 risk. So awesome. Pleased with that. Pleased with that. And I think it's a good note to call it a day as well.
I think that was a really good example, though. I mean, even after that 15-minute close, you'd say there was like 80, 90% chance of that heading down, but you just got to manage the risk, I suppose.
Yeah. Yeah, precisely, man. I mean, look, this 15-minute came right back up in the range. And the 30 did as well. So it was a fake out. It was a fake out. You know, there's nothing you can do about it. It's a probabilities aspect. But when you manage risk like this, you know, it allows you to give your biases 2 chances. It allows you to give your trade 3 chances, you know. So just before we call it a day here, let me check out this chart with EN from Jayan. Let me check this chart out here, and then we will be calling it a day here in a minute. But yeah, we reached 100 viewers here today, so we beat that. So I'm pleased about that. So we at least hit TP on something today. Okay, let's check this chart out. So this was Euro NZD 30-minute. Solid 30-minute 1 hour resistance, hard time frame, bearish trend, perfect. Minor support created on the 15-minute, 30-minute broke below, yes. Entered on retest, 5-minute rejection, bearish, awesome. Secured 70%, runners, stops at now BE, perfect. Yeah, I think that's really good. I also think, you know, potentially you could have executed on the break of this low, anticipating the support to break. It also could have worked, because if you see, this candle came all the way up to this area and it rejected it. It rejected this area and it closed like a weak candle. But your trade still played out. You still got a good entry. You still had a good risk to reward. So can't fault it. That's the only little bit of feedback I'll give you. But perfect. Secured 70%, leaving runners at break even. Awesome. I think that's a great trade. So yeah. So I think it's going to be a good idea to call it a day here today, guys. Even if we look at the 1 hour, even the 1 hour is coming back up in the range. 4 hour, yeah, just is what it is, I suppose. So yeah, so thanks very much, guys, for coming. We hit the record here today. Let's hopefully we can keep that up for this week. Hopefully we can, you know, get 100 people on at any one time. Will be fantastic. But yeah. So yeah, thanks everyone for watching. Thanks guys in the YouTube for coming on. Zoom, sorry, and the YouTube. Thanks for both guys for coming on. And yeah, we'll see you all tomorrow, 7:30 a.m. GMT. 2 losses today. It's perfectly fine. It's only Monday, so hopefully we'll have a good trade tomorrow and we'll be back. Actually, quickly before we go, let's check out the other pairs. So it seems as though gold is just consolidating here, actually. Gold is just consolidating, not really doing much. Let's look at GBP CAD. We didn't actually look at GCAD. Let's look at Euro JPY. Looks like Euro JPY sells did play out. Pretty nice over there. Euro JPY sells played out. Euro NZD. Oh yeah, those are the sells that Jayan just took. Very nice. I think they'll be very nice to play out further on. So yeah, that's it. That's it. So yeah, thanks very much everyone. And yeah, I'll see you all tomorrow.
Chill out.
See you, mate.
Cheers.
Yep, thank you. So yeah, so thanks everyone for coming today. I think it's still a good day despite giving the buyers 2 chances. But yeah, I'll see everyone tomorrow. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your day. But no over trading. If you've taken 2 trades today, if you've taken 2 losses, then really, really, really be cautious. Because it seems as though market's having a lot of issues. But yeah. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there now. That's enough from me.